everybody, it is me, Tarson. Welcome back to another Minecraft video. And today, guys, we're going to be going over everything that has to do with the Minecraft 1.16 update. Now, just a fair warning, there might be a couple small details that I might miss in here, but other than that, I'm going to be going over just about everything, some of the new blocks, new mobs, new biomes, new achievements, and some other new cool features as well. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this brand new video. So guys, the first thing when you pop into Minecraft 1.16 you're going to notice is the brand new world options. So as you can see here, there is a couple new difficulties. There's, well, of course, you can change the difficulty here, but of course before you had to do it in-game. So now you can set peaceful, easy, normal, and hard right here. You can choose game mode, survival, hardcore, creative, and that's just about it. You can also add new data packs, which allows also new dimensions. So you could essentially make the Aether in vanilla Minecraft. Well, not vanilla, but without, say, mods or other third-party applications, which I find really cool. The next thing you can add is new game rules. Now, these obviously can also be toggled in-game using the use of commands, but if I wanted to make a survival world with cheats off, I could also keep inventory on, but cheats would still be off, so I can't just say go into creative and also get some other stuff, because without cheats before, you would always drop your inventory. So this is really cool. It allows for a couple things to be on. Of course, I do recommend you guys check some of those out. New world options. Of course, these are already in. They were just kind of in the generation settings before. You can generate structures, things like this, bonus chest, import settings, which actually just opened up a new window which you guys can't see, but you can also add a whole bunch of new things with that as well. So guys, right now I am into the Nether, and as you can see, just going straight through the portal, we are in one of the brand new biomes already. This here is the warped forest biome, and it adds a whole bunch of new vegetation, including twisting vines, warped wart as leaves on trees, and even brand new grass as well, called warped nilium. This stuff is insane, and this is a really cool biome. Now, not very many mobs spawn here, as you can see, probably how many you could expect to see here normally. Now, a lot of Endermen are spawning here, you may realize. I'm noticing quite a few. I've already seen probably about 5 or 6 here, which is interesting. So this could actually be a new place to grind for Ender Pearls, if you are into that. This is the first new biome, of course, but there is actually 5 biomes in the Nether now. Interesting sounds. This is a new mob down here. This is called the Strider. Again, I'm going to be going over it later on in this video. Now, I'm going to be taking you guys onto the brand new next biome, and that is called the Crimson Forest. So guys, what we're in right now is the brand new Crimson Forest biome. As you can see, this place has a lot of red, almost like the original Nether. This stuff has the brand new, of course, Crimson Nilium on the ground. It again also adds brand new vegetation, vines that hang off the trees. This here is actually Nether Wart Block, which is already in the game, and it also adds Shroom Light. Now, Shroom Light was also in the trees in the Warped Forest biome, but the main difference about this biome is you'll see these new mobs. These are the Hoglins, and these things are pretty dangerous. So guys, I've gone into survival mode just to show you here. And I'm going to go up to one of these Hoglins, and I'm going to see. These are also the brand new Piglin mobs as well, and they are actually sometimes aggressive and sometimes passive. It depends on what you're actually wearing. And here they are here. The Hoglins will pack a punch. Oh my god, that was almost 4 hearts of damage. These things will kill you quite quickly. So this Crimson Forest is definitely not a joke. I also do really like the terrain generation in this one particularly, but I also just do really like the atmosphere of this biome. It's really quite cool. And after this Crimson Forest here, I think I'm going to probably take you guys over to another new biome called the Soul Sand Valley. So guys, right now I have managed to find a Soul Sand Valley, and this biome is really interesting. It adds one new block, but it also adds these pillars here. This brand new block is Soul Soil, which goes along with Soul Sand very well. This biome does spawn skeletons, and on these new soul blocks, actually fire turns blue, and it turns into this stuff here, which is called soul fire. Now, in this biome, ghasts tend to spawn a lot. These are Basalt Pillars. Adds brand new block Basalt. Again, going to be going over it later in this video. Piglins do also tend to spawn in this biome, along with the zombified piglins, which are the newer versions of zombie pigmen. This here is actually the Nether Wastes biome, which is right beside it too. You can see a bit of a crimson forest down there, but right here is what we're talking about. This is the Nether Wastes, and this is basically the old Nether. It's been renamed, and nothing else has really been changed about it. The terrain generation seems to be the same. The only thing that's new is this Nether Gold ore, which actually spawns in all the biomes now. And guys, right now I have managed to find a Basalt Deltas. This is by far my favorite of the new Nether biomes. It's really cool. I love these particles with the ashes falling. This place looks really cool as well. The terrain generation, this is quite a small one here, but the terrain generation almost looks as if basalt is fallen from the ceiling, which actually the ceiling itself is also all made of basalt. It looks as almost basalt is affected by gravity, but really it is not. As you can see, I can make basalt float perfectly fine. It doesn't fall like, say, sand or gravel would. But there's also a brand new block in this biome besides the basalt, and that is blackstone. Blackstone has so many building possibilities. It has polished variants, stone brick variants. It's so many new things with it, and I'm going to be going over all of its new blocks and variants later on in this video again. And that's just about it for all these new biomes. There's not really much else, but there is a couple structures that I want to show you, and I'm going to show you guys those right now. So guys, here we are. This is a Bastion Remnant. Now these are basically the dungeons of the Nether. And as you can see, this one here is pretty large. It actually goes way back into this hill here, and it also looks pretty cool too. Now this one here has some nice towers up here. It got some like castle as well. And this place inside is actually quite dangerous. Piglins spawn all the way through it. I'm actually just going to break in here. And there is also some really good loot. So inside here, as you can see, this is actually a pretty good chest. There's a lot of spectral arrows, crossbow, gilded blackstone, which you can actually only find in the bastions here. There's magma cream, the new chain blocks, blocks of gold, obsidian, a whole bunch of new things, also some crying obsidian. But the main things that you can get out of these chests is a brand new banner pattern and a new music disc. So I'm going to see if I can get it out of here. We got some gold leggings, some bone blocks. Nothing seems to be in here. But if in case we don't find it in the bastion here, I will be going over it later on in the video, no matter what. So I'm going to be going through this here, and I'm going to be looking through some of the chests, and I'll come back to you guys. Okay guys, so I happened to stumble across this room, which looks really cool. This thing is so open. It's got walkways all around multiple levels, and it even has like these bridges that are going through it. And down in the center here, it seems to have a little treasure island, a diamond sword, and ancient debris. This stuff is actually insane, and this is what you use to make netherite. That stuff is going to be extremely valuable, and that's how you also get the new netherite gear, because I'm pretty sure you guys have probably heard by now, there is stuff that's better than diamond. Oh, and I didn't even realize this before, but there's actually a magma cream spawner here, so that could also be used to make new farms. What's in this chest? Oh, here's the new banner pattern. This is the snout banner pattern. I'm going to show you guys that a little bit later on in this video. So guys, I've managed to locate a ruined portal. Now these things can actually spawn in both the overworld and the nether. This one is spawned in the nether, but I'm also going to show you guys what one in the overworld would look like too. I'm going to take a peek into this chest here, and holy moly. So got some nice gear here, mending as well. That's actually quite interesting. Fire charge, glistening melons, some golden apple, and an unbreaking one golden sword. That's actually not half bad. These things also, as well, have some crying obsidian, which also spawns around it, and some blocks of gold. So it's not just about the chest loot. You can also get quite a bit of obsidian from these as well, and you could probably make yourself an entire portal just about out of some of the obsidian from some of these ruined portals. Now I'm actually going to go back into the overworld, and I'm going to show you guys one that's in the overworld. So guys, I have managed to find a rune portal here in the overworld, and now there's something quite interesting about this one. It's actually underground. I'm actually quite deep too. I'm at 35 block, but this is one of them here in the overworld. It seems to, put a little bit of nether terrain around it. As you can see, it's actually, overhanging here, and it actually doesn't look half bad the way that it's overhanging. Like, it wouldn't require really any terraforming to make it look good. So, I'm going to see what's in the chest here. And again, quite a bit of gold gear. We got Curse of Vanishing, got a Mending Pickaxe, that's actually not half bad, and a Fortune 3 Golden Hoe, golden apple and quite a bit of obsidian. But I actually really do like the looks of this one. It has this, but it's actually suspended by these iron bars. And I feel it looks really cool. I'm just wondering why they maybe didn't use the new chain blocks there. I feel like that could have been a prime opportunity. And see, this is why I like the chain blocks. I just replaced those iron bars with chains, and I feel that looks so much better. I really like the looks of these chain blocks. They can be used for so many different things. But now, with the fact that we found all the new structures and all the new biomes, I'm going to go ahead and take you guys back into my nether testing world, and I'm going to go through every single block and all the new things and features that I have with it. Okay guys, so now that I'm back in my testing world here, the first thing I'm actually going to go over is the brand new item frame. So with this item frame, it actually allows you to make it invisible. You can use this command here, which I'm actually going to type out for you guys at the bottom. So you can go /give @p or your username, Minecraft, :item _ frame. You can do curly bracket. And then from there, you want to do entity tag :curly bracket invisible 1b. Actually, sorry, invisible :1b, and then curly bracket. It should go yellow to make you know that that is a valid command. You can press enter, and then you'll be given an item frame. And when you place that down, you should notice that it's invisible. Now, having this invisible item frame can open up so many new possibilities when it comes to building. This is a cave scene that I just quickly slapped together. I have these firework stars on the ground, which are rocks. I put a latch on this barrel just using a lever. I put some, iron chipping off the wall, so I just used some light gray terracotta. And I just put some coal as well. Now, I didn't put too much effort into this one, but obviously you could do so much more with this. This is really just scratching the surface. And this is an overworld one, more of an outdoor themed one. We got apples and trees. Again, we got sticks and rocks on the ground, which I think almost looks like certain mods. You can even, put fish on the ground beside the campfire. You can do so much with these new item frames. Like, even indoors, too. Like, right here, we have an invisible item frame on the bottom of a chain, and it makes it almost look like a pulley for, one of those ceiling lights where you pull on it and it turns it on. And so now you can actually make that, and it looks so good. It looks so realistic, and I just love it. Here I just have a record laying on top of the record player. We have a pickaxe on top of the crafting table, and we got some ingots and some fuel on top of the furnaces. Now, the main biggest decoration thing that I always hated was when people would put anvils inside of item frames and then put a torch on the same block. I felt it just looked terrible. I didn't like the looks that the item frame had that big nasty square around the torch. I know what people were going for, but it was never really able to be put across in the same way that it is now, because now we can only have the anvil on the wall, and it just looks so much better than having the entire item frame surrounding the torch. Overall, I really like this addition. I think it's really great, and it'll be so useful for builders, map makers, or people that just want to make a small room, but just have it so detailed. It's actually finally now possible. But with this said and this gone over, let's get straight into the brand new nether stuff. Here is the first new blocks. Here we have basalt and polished basalt. Now, basalt can be polished in a stone cutter. Now, this is actually a really nice block for building. It's a more lighter gray color, but it also has a nice texture to it that it can also be vertical as well. Actually, yeah, that's vertical. It can also be horizontal. This is, of course, a directional block, so depending on which way I'm facing when I place it, it'll face that direction. Meaning you can actually make some pretty interesting patterns with it as well. I can't wait to see what people make with this, and personally, I've already thought about making this as kind of like a charred or burned down tree stump. So, I think it's pretty useful. And also the basalt pattern as well here can also be used as a variant of cobblestone. I think this would look great for footpaths. I also love the sound it makes when you walk over it. It sounds just like a path, whereas cobblestone sounds more of a solid block. So I really like this. I think it's perfect for walkways and things like that. So guys, next up are the two biggest additions, the crimson blocks and the warped blocks. Now with this, there is a whole bunch of new trees, wood, and vines, and foliage, and I'm going to be going over all of that. So first up with the crimson side, they have vines that actually grow on the underside of blocks. Now these vines can actually be climbed up, and if I release space, I gradually fall back down. The leaves on the trees are made of the nether wart block, which was already existing in the game, whereas the warped one has the warped wart block, which is a brand new block. The foliage on the crimson side, however, is actually pretty cool. We have the crimson fungus here, and we have crimson roots. Crimson roots is basically your crimson version of, say, normal overworld grass, and it's pretty nice. Both of these can actually be put in flower pots and put on display that way. Now with the warped foliage, however, there's actually quite a bit more. Not only do we have warped fungus and the warped roots, but we also have nether sprouts. Now the reason I'm adding with these to warped, although it doesn't say warped in the name, is because it's the exact same color. But these are the only foliage that cannot be added to flower pots, as you can see. The other two can, though. Now, similar to the crimson version of these vines, these ones actually grow on the ground, but they can also be climbed up. And they can be climbed all the way up to the very top, and then jumped off of, and if you're in survival mode, you'll probably die, so I would be careful of that. Along with the crimson and warped variants, there's also the brand new block called Nilium, and this is crimson and warped. And this stuff is basically just nether grass. As you can see, the texture blends seamlessly with already existing nether wart, and it can be placed on top, just like any other block. Now moving on to trees. Both types of trees actually also generate Shroom Light in the top of the actual mushroom cap of it. Now, I say mushroom cap because personally I think these look more like kind of overgrown mushrooms than really trees. Also the fact that it has, wart blocks as the, I guess, leaves. So I'm going to call them mushrooms. If they are trees, let me know. But of course the stem is actually made of wood. Now, with wood said, both of these have their brand new wood pallets. And these have all the different variants as a normal wood pallet would. And I really like it. It adds a blue, kind of more ocean vibe, and also a purple, more fiery vibe to it as well. And these have all the different types that you could imagine. All these trap doors, buttons, pressure plates, fences, signs, you name it. I think this is a great addition. It's always good to have some new wood possibilities. I really like it. And with that said, on to the next new addition. So here we have the two types of soul blocks. Now these can be most commonly found in the Soul Sand Valley biome. And these blocks are quite interesting. So we have Soul Sand and Soul Soil. Now what makes these blocks unique is that if fire is placed on it, it actually makes it blue. And it actually calls it Soul Fire. Now this does not go for the same if you place a torch or campfire on these blocks. Now of course there is soul variants of these blocks, as you can see here. And they can be crafted in the crafting table using soul sand and soul soil, which I'll show you guys in a second here. Now the soul blocks are soul torch, soul campfire, and soul lantern. Of course, these brand new campfires can also be put out using a wooden shovel or a splash water bottle, just like the regular campfires would. Now you're probably wondering how to craft these blocks. For a soul torch, it's quite easy. You can just use any normal torch crafting recipe using either coal or charcoal, and then you can put either soul sand or soul soil underneath, and you can actually mix and match these, so it doesn't have to be charcoal with soul sand. It could be charcoal with soul soil and coal with soul sand. It doesn't matter. With the soul campfire, you actually replace the coal or charcoal with soul sand or soul soil. Again, either one works, it does not matter. With the soul lantern, it's a lantern except using a soul torch. What did you expect? To craft the chain block, all you're going to need is one iron ingot with an iron nugget on both top and bottom of it. On to the next brand new block. This is Shroom Light, and this is the block that is found in the top of these mushroom trees. Actually, in my opinion, better than glowstone. Now if you look closely, it's not animated, so it's not, say, like sea lanterns, but it has more of a pumpkin vibe to it. I feel it kind of blends in better with the pumpkin than, say, the glowstone would, and so it's really close to the jack-o'-lantern. I feel it has a lot better orange vibe to it, and I really love the sound. I think it's a really cool sound, and I think this would be great for building. Of course, here's the chain block. And I've already mentioned the chain block quite a few times, but I love this. This is so good for building, and of course it blends absolutely seamlessly with the existing lantern. The next addition is Crying Obsidian. Now, you can find Crying Obsidian at the ruined portals, and the only use for it right now in 1.16, actually in 1.16.1, is to make a respawn anchor, which is right there, and I'm going to be showing you guys how to craft that in a couple seconds. The next block is the target block, and I actually think this is quite an interesting one. This is not nether related whatsoever. Of course, you can make it nether related, but it's just a target. It doesn't spawn naturally in the nether, and you can actually make the target block just by adding a hay bale surrounded by 4 redstone dust into a crafting table. Now here's a little demonstration of the target block. So say I was to go and shoot it with a bow right near the corner. As you can see, it sends a temporary, quite weak redstone pulse. It only got 3 blocks long. But say I was to go and shoot that same target block right close to the center. As you can see, it's again a temporary pulse, but it is much longer. And as you can see, the lights went on way down to the end there. And if I was to actually get a perfect bullseye, it would go right down to the end at 15 blocks if it was ideally the perfect bullseye. But again, I'm not the greatest shot. Oh, there it is there, 15. And so it's only temporary, so you could maybe use observers to trigger this as well. But I think that this could be used to make some really cool mini games, and I really like this as an addition to the redstone palette. Next up, we have 2 more nether themed blocks, and this is the lodestone and the respawn anchor. Now, first up with the lodestone, it actually is used to waypoint compasses. So say if I was to take a compass here and right click on the lodestone, I would get a lodestone compass. And as you can see, this compass here is pointing to world spawn, but this compass here is pointing towards this lodestone. And this can actually work with multiple lodestones at the same time, with each compass pointing to a different lodestone. I feel this is really cool. You can put a lodestone at any of your mob farms, and you can say rename the compass in an anvil, and name it to that specific farm. And then you can use this to get over there instead of saying using the coordinate menu. I feel this is a really good addition, definitely good for waypoints. But why would you need to go over there if you can just respawn over there? And that's what the respawn anchor is for. Now this actually only works in the nether, and is quite dangerous in the overworld. Now, if you charge it up 4 times, it'll now allow you to respawn at it 4 times. Once you respawn once, that charge will go down by 1, 1, 1 until it's empty. And then once it's empty, you'll respawn either at your home bed or at the world spawn. And it'll just say you have no bed or your respawn anchor was uncharged. Now, the reason I say that the respawn anchor is explosive is because if you activate it or accidentally put in 5 glowstone, it has quite a big explosion. And here I'm actually going to compare it to TNT. TNT is currently basically the most explosive thing in the game besides beds, but you can only use them in the nether and the end. And so TNT is really your only good explosive option for in the overworld for mining. And that's how big an explosion is. It's not the biggest, and this here is actually a much higher level explosion. So as you can see, I just charged it up to full. If I was to right click on it again, it creates a much bigger explosion, and because it's also a higher level explosion, Minecraft also puts fire on the ground around it. And so this is quite dangerous. I wouldn't really recommend using this in survival though, because with TNT, I could say ignite it, and then I can run all the way over here, right? And then I'm well over the range of it. Except with the respawn anchor, I kind of, have to be close to it to be able to, the farthest I can be would really be right here. And that would probably kill me even with diamond armor. I haven't tested it, but I wouldn't try it in survival. Of course, if you know what you're doing and you have the right armor and protection, the respawn anchor could also be a great mining block. Now, with that said, we're going to move on to the next block, because that's really all the respawn anchor has to offer. Now, before I forget, this is how you craft the 2. So with the lodestone, you just need to surround a netherite ingot in a crafting table by 8 chiseled stone bricks, just like this. And for the respawn anchor, it's 6 crying obsidian with 3 glowstone down the middle of the crafting table. With this update also comes a brand new music disc, which can also be found in the bastion chests along with that banner pattern. And with this music disc, it's the first one that has a red outline on it instead of the black, say, vinyl. And this is a really nice disc. I'm going to play the first couple seconds of it here. As you can see, it's a really cool music disc, has a nice bass drop to it as well. If you want to listen to the full thing, you can pop into the game and check it out yourself, or there should be a video of it somewhere on YouTube. I don't have the time to play it fully in this video. Now, along with the new Strider mob, also comes a new way to ride it, and it's also guided around kind of similar to a pig, except it's not using a carrot on a stick, it's using a warped fungus on a stick. Now this can actually be crafted in the crafting table, just using a fishing rod with a warped fungus in either the bottom left or bottom right corners. Now comes the biggest new change of blocks. These are the Blackstone blocks, and this has so many different block variants and block combinations, and these would be great for building. Here we have the Blackstone here, and this includes stairs, a slab, and a wall. It also has gilded Blackstone, which can be found in Bastion remnants. Now we have the Blackstone bricks. We have Blackstone stairs, slabs, walls, and even the cracked bricks as well. Now, I really hope that they also add a chiseled variant to this, kind of like over here. We have the snout, which is like it, but it's a little bit too bright, and it doesn't blend in perfectly. Obviously, it'll do, but I really hope that they add a Blackstone brick that is chiseled, that would match the texture more perfectly. Now, with that being said, we're now moving on to the polished Blackstone. This doesn't have the cracked variant, but it does have the chiseled variant, and of course the wall, slab, and stairs, respectively. Now, this one also has some redstone stuff. It also has a button and a pressure plate as well. And these things blend in really nicely, because there's actually a pressure plate here, and there's a button here. Bet you guys didn't notice that. If you did, comment down in the comments below. But I think that these could be really good for hidden button maps, especially just because the texture of polished Blackstone is so chaotic. It makes it really hard to see this. Now, the next new addition is actually with the original Nether bricks. There is now a chiseled and cracked variants, and these are long overdue. These really should have been in the game since the original Nether fortresses were added, but sadly they weren't. I'm glad that we have them now, but I really hope that there is also a red Nether brick variant of the two, even if it's the exact same texture, just red. It doesn't have to be fancy. I just hope that there's something, because right now you can't really build much with these red Nether bricks, as they kind of look very ugly. Now, of course, the stone bricks have remained unchanged, but they also have all of the different types of blocks with it, and I hope that we get to see all of these sets as well get finished off with the missing blocks. Now, quartz has had a bit of a change, and that is the fact that they now have quartz bricks, and these are quite an interesting block. I really like it. I like the pattern of big bricks, small bricks, big bricks. You get the idea. And there is no quartz brick stairs and slabs, but there's already the smooth quartz, and the texture is literally the exact same, except without, the additional lines in it. So it doesn't matter too much. Maybe we'll see one in the future. I'm not too sure. Now, before we get into Netherite, I would like to take a look at achievements. There is a whole bunch of new achievements in the Nether tab, and this is really a full Nether tab now. There used to be quite small, and there wasn't too much to do, but it also did have some of the most hard advancements in the game, which is a Furious Cocktail and How Did We Get Here, which is actually hidden for me right now. But it has a whole bunch of new achievements, including Enter a Bastion Remnant, Loot a Chest in a Bastion Remnant, Obtain Ancient Debris, Use a Compass on a Lodestone, get a full suit of netherite armor. That would be a challenge in survival mode. Using the netherite to travel 7 kilometers in the overworld, which was actually already an achievement. Break your way into another fortress, again, already there. These 6 are already here, so I'm not going to go over them. But some newer ones as well are Obtain Crying Obsidian, Charge a Respawn Anchor to the maximum, Distract Piglins with Gold, Ride a Strider with a warped fungus on a stick, and explore all of the Nether biomes. Now that really does it for all the achievements, and that might not seem like much, but if you're in survival and you're trying to get all the achievements and really complete the game, this is going to be some tough achievements to get, especially with the full suit of netherite armor, unless you're really late into the game and can mine it up easily. But with that being said, and with the talk of netherite, let's move on to netherite. So this here is netherite, and this is a new best ore in the game, and replaces diamonds. This stuff is found underneath the lava lakes in the nether, and can be mined up with ancient debris. If you smelt an ancient debris in either a blast furnace or a furnace, you will get 1 netherite scrap in return, which you can then use to make netherite ingots. You can craft netherite ingots by using 4 netherite scrap and 4 gold ingots in a crafting table. It doesn't matter the pattern, it could be anything you desire. Now, netherite ingots are also used to make one other thing, and that is blocks of netherite. I don't know why you would make this. It's the most expensive resource, and it's just a block. Maybe to store it better in a chest and things like that. But I highly doubt that you're going to have more than 1 double chest full of netherite ingots in the first place. I highly doubt that you're even going to be able to get a stack. The only other thing that netherite blocks are quite good for is building beacons, but you could just as easily make a beacon out of iron as you could netherite, so I don't know why you would go, all those extra ways just to make it out of netherite. Just doesn't make any sense to me. But with that being said, once you have the netherite ingots, you can then go ahead and make yourself some netherite gear. Wait a minute, it's not working. That's what you might think, but it's actually done a little bit differently this time. Instead of needing just 2 ingots to make a sword, you only need 1. And this actually really greatly reduces the cost. So I'm going to take all this diamond gear here and upgrade it. So I'm going to take my netherite, and I'm going to put 1 diamond chest plate into the smithing table. And then you only need 1 iron ingot to turn it into a netherite chest plate. So this, of course, cuts the costs of upgrading your gear exponentially, and makes it so much faster as well to get it all for mining. And now I have a full suit of netherite armor and tools, and I'm now fully kitted out. I really do love this new helmet as well, with the fact that it has the little drop down nose guard, and it just looks a bit different from the other existing armor sets in the game. Now the armor on the other hand isn't actually more protective, it just gives you higher armor toughness. I'm not too sure what armor toughness does, but I'm pretty sure it makes you just take less damage per your armor, but it also gives you knockback resistance, and that's +1 knockback resistance per piece of netherite armor. Now that's all I really have to say for netherite, and I'm quite surprised that they actually added a resource that's stronger than diamonds into Minecraft. I never thought they would personally, but I'm glad that they did because it makes late game players, it gives them a new objective to work towards. Now, that's all about I have to say for netherite, so now let's move on to the new mobs. So the first new mob in the 1.16 Nether update is the zombified Piglin. Now, he's not new, he's been in the game for a long time. It's just a renamed version of the original zombie pigman, except now he has the new 3D snout. If you would stop looking at me, you're going to see it pops out, and he has the floppy ear as well. And it's also very similar to the Piglin mob. Now next up is the Hoglin. I showed this guy earlier, and he is quite dangerous, but the reason he's shaking right now is because he's in the overworld. If this guy gets into the overworld, he will actually become very dangerous. That's because if he comes into the overworld, he turns into a Zoglin, and that is basically a zombified Hoglin, except shortened. And this guy will attack anything. He will even attack other Hoglins. Now he actually won that fight, and some other things that he attacks is basically any other mob. So be careful, he will also attack you and deal a lot of damage. The next new mob is the Piglin, but I'm actually going to save him until we get into the Nether. But if you spawn him in the overworld, now they could spawn with the gold armor, but he will also start to shake, and after a little bit, he will turn into a zombified Piglin, which is basically just, again, kind of like how the Hoglin works. Now the next new major addition is the Strider, and he spawned with a little baby on his back, but they won't always. And now, the reason he's shaking is not because he's in the overworld like the other mobs. It's actually because he's not in lava. Once he's in lava, he becomes this nice red color, and he stops shaking. And the reason they like lava so much is because they are basically your new lava boats. And I'm going to go into the Nether, I'm going to ride one of these things around, and I'm also going to show you the Piglin in action. So guys, here's a Piglin. Now, they can spawn with any random type of gold armor, or with no armor at all. And they can also hold either a gold sword, or like this guy over here, a crossbow. But these guys also have some very unique characteristics. If I go into game mode survival, they will become hostile, and they will both shoot at me and hit me, and I'm actually about to die here. These guys are no joke, and they will swarm you quite fast. A way to get these guys to be friendly is actually quite simple. Now that I'm back in creative, I can actually get some gold armor. It doesn't have to be a chestplate, it could be boots or just a helmet. But if I was to go back into survival, right now, as you can see, they're again aggressive. If I was to put this on, they become completely passive, and they no longer want to hurt me. And this is because piglins love gold. Now, even if I'm wearing a gold piece of armor, and say I was to mine a nether gold ore, which I can't actually see any here, but if I was to actually mine nether gold, there's some up there, they will also start to attack me again. So don't mine some gold there on these guys, but make sure to have some gold on you. Now, that isn't the only type of gold you want to have on you. You also want to have a couple ingots in your inventory, because if you drop them, piglins will actually pick them up. It'll actually initiate bartering. I'm going to go over bartering in a second, and I'm going to give you the entire loot table in a minute. If I was to drop some on the ground, they will pick them up and give me items that they feel in return is equal. Now, of course, this is a variety of items, everywhere to just nether bricks to even obsidian or potions of fire resistance. Now, this is also quite interesting because if I was to go into survival, as you can see, they're aggressive towards me. Throw some gold, and they are completely nice again. Now, you might want to be careful because that brief moment before they pick up another gold, they will become passive. As again, he tried to shoot me, but then he got distracted by the gold as well. And this is actually an achievement to do this, but you can also get some good stuff. As you can see, I just got some ender pearls. But, look at that, let's go back into the overworld. That didn't work. Now here is the bartering loot table. These items right up the side here are actually all of the items that you can get from bartering. Now this isn't just any enchantment book, this is actually an enchantment book with soul speed. It could be soul speed 1 or soul speed 3. It's completely random, so you have the same amount of chance as getting soul speed 1 as you do soul speed 3. And these boots here are also enchanted with a soul speed. Again, it could be 1 or 3 or 2. It's completely random. Now, there's actually multiples of items. So with bartering, these ones at the bottom are easier to get, and at the top are harder. So of course you can get anywhere between 4 to 16 soul sand, 1 to 3 crying obsidian, 1 obsidian, 4 to 16 nether bricks, 4 to 10 leather, 8 to 16 gravel, and 1 to 5 fire charges. And all of these items here, you have roughly a 9.46% chance of receiving. These next items here could either be 8 to 24 string, 4 to 8 ender pearls, 2 to 6 magma cream, 5 to 12 glowstone dust, or 8 to 16 nether quartz. And any of these items here, you have roughly a 4.73% chance of receiving from bartering. Even higher up the list, you could get either 1 potion of fire resistance, 1 splash potion of fire resistance, or anywhere between just 9 to all the way up to 36 iron nuggets. And these you have roughly a 2.36% chance of getting. Now the two rarest types of items are sitting at roughly 1.5% chance of getting. Here, the boots, you can get maximum of 1, and you'll have roughly a 1.89% chance. And this book here, you can get again a maximum of 1, and you could have roughly a 1.18% chance. And that's all you can currently get from bartering. Now, I'm also not sure about Bedrock Edition. Of course, the loot tables might be a little bit different, but as of Java Edition, this is what you can get from bartering. Now, it's time to go over the Soul Speed enchantment. So as you can see here, I have 3 pairs of boots. Now, the Soul Speed enchantment can go on any type of boot. I just have it on Netherite boots here. So, if I take these out, and I put on the Soul Speed 1 boots, if I was to say walk across soul sand, this is the speed, and it's actually faster than normal blocks. This is just about the speed I would be going if I was to say run across a normal block. And I'm going to run back across the soul sand. As you can see, it's quite a bit faster than just even running across a normal block. And that's only with Soul Speed 1. Now I'm going to show you guys Soul Speed 2. Again, I'm going to start off walking. And now going back, I'm going to run. And now, again, I'm going to do this again with Soul Speed 3. This is running. And this is walking. This is really fast. This could also replace nether transport such as ice boats. Now, you could also make nether tunnels using this and just run down them with the boots. But right now, you're not seeing the effects of it. If I was to go into game mode survival, you would see that running across soul sand will actually take durability off the boots. So just by running to the end of this, you can see it took roughly about 4 damage. Now obviously this could vary. I'm not sure if it's an exact amount per block or if it's just randomly it'll take a durability off. Now of course I'm assuming unbreaking will also reduce the effects of this as well. And that's really all there is to the soul speed enchantment. Really fast if you got soul speed 3. Definitely viable for fast ways of nether transport if you make nether tunnels to really get yourself around even faster in the overworld. Now, a couple other facts about the Piglin actually includes that they are aggressive towards the Hoglin. Now, this isn't always the case. All the Piglins in the area at one point will decide to team up and hunt down the Hoglin. This will then, of course, give them pork and stuff like that, and this is basically how they live in the nether. Now, I'm going to cut until they start hunting it. And here it is here, as you guys can see, they're all hunting at the Hoglin. And if we get something really special, once they defeat the Hoglin, we'll see something quite interesting. There's also another new addition. And here it is. This guy is dancing. That's right, Piglins have a chance to dance after they defeat a Hoglin. And the dancing will actually go on for about 10 seconds before they stop. And now this is the snout banner pattern. It can of course be dyed any color, and I really like it. I think it looks really nice. It can definitely make for some interesting designs. Of course, it kind of looks like a power outlet. Now, I'm sure that this banner pattern has tons of different possibilities that I'm just, not familiar with or I'm just not thinking of. The one thing that I could maybe think of would be to either make a Streamlabs logo or maybe even a Twitch logo. But of course, you'd have to be quite creative to be able to come up with that. With that being said, that's basically what we have with the snout banner pattern. And so guys, that just about wraps it up for this video. I hope you guys are still sitting in there. I know it's been a long video and there's a lot to cover. So hopefully this wasn't too long. If it is, it'll probably take about 16 days to upload on my internet anyway. So I'm going to try to cut this down as much as I can. I'm going to try to get this as short as possible while also detailing as much of the things that I can. I really had a lot of fun making this video. Hopefully I can get this guy out to you guys within a reasonable time, probably before the end of next week. With that being said, have a nice day.